Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So today's video is going to be a balloon themed birthday card with a little bit of something special. So let's go ahead and get to it. Okay, so we're going to start off with our backing base. So to do that, I'm going to use my stitched rectangles from Fawn. You don't have to. I just really love the stitching detail that comes with these, so I tend to lean towards using them quite a lot. I know, I'm a bit of a Fawn addict. I'm aware. I'm very aware. You should see the state of my die drawer. It's ridiculous. So then we're going to grab a little bit of washi tape, preferably a tape bit that's actually, solid and all. And we're going to die cut this first one. And we're going to die cut a second one as well from the excess on the other end. And that's just so we've got a backing panel to use. That noise still scares me, but it's okay. A minute there I thought it didn't cut through, but it did. So just cut the second one while we're here. Good thing is it does get two. So that was the largest of the small stitched rectangle stackables. I just decided to make it just a little bit smaller, and that way if we then decide to make the card a little bit bigger, that's okay. So there we go, we've got our two sort of panels. And then I'm going to start with decorating or doing the stencil for the back. So I'm going to do all the clouds. The other thing I just want to do really quickly, I get really frustrated with they're not fluffy bits, but they're just not perfectly cut bits on the edge of my dies, and that's just because my plates are really old and I need to replace them, and I haven't done that yet. So this is my fault, not the die's fault. And then because I've just done that, I've actually kind of made a mess of that. Not a big mess, but I just didn't do a very good job. So I'm just going to really quickly do that same thing on this side, but be a bit more careful. Trying to do things fast does not always get you what you want. So what I've done is I've grabbed myself a bit of scrap cardboard. I'm in preparation. I'm dying for the new Fawn cloud stencils. I'm also really looking forward to the grass stencils. That's all part of their new release, which is coming out very, very soon. I think it's mid-February it comes out. But in the meantime, all I've done here is traced the stitched cloud borders and just cut them out by hand. It's not going to be the best way to do this, but it's going to be fine. When I get my stencil, the world will be a happy place. So what I'm going to do is just stick this down just at the top, which at the moment is going to stay white. So that's, oh no, it won't. Hold on. I'm going to stick this down on the side. I just was thinking about where my ink was going. So I'm going to grab my ink blending tools, and I'm going to start off with broken china. No, I'm going to start with tumbled glass, just because it's a little bit lighter, and I can always make it darker if I don't like it, or if it's too light. So I've got the stencil down there, and all I'm going to do is just ink blend over where the stencil line is. I'm just going to be really gentle. I don't want it to be too dark, at least for this first run over. It doesn't look like a lot now, it will in a second. So it's just a really gentle kind of run over. I love doing that so much, it makes me so happy. And that's all it is, it's just stencils are so good. Why did no one tell me about stencils earlier? So I'm just making that little corner a little bit darker because it wasn't quite dark enough. There we go. And then what we can do is move this just over a little bit, or we can flip it over and use this side, it doesn't matter. Just to move the shape a little so it's not sort of being repeated over and over and over again. And you can do the same thing, which will build up the colour but build up the layers along here. So I'll do one more and show you, and then I'll do the really fast way. So I'm just lining that up. Just go again. You want to go up and over the last one you did. So it will build up a little bit of colour on that next row up, but that's okay because if you think about it, it's further in the distance because it's a cloudy day. It'll all make sense eventually. So just all along there. Layer 2. Oh my god, that looks so cool. So I'm going to continue that all down the page. I'm going to flip this over every once in a while and just use a different cloud shape so that they don't repeat. And I'm going to finish that all the way down, and I'll be right back. just while I'm thinking of it, something else you can do. If you don't like the way that the shapes are lining up or they look like they're repeating each other too much, just flip it over. And you can use the other side. Didn't think of it until I was just sitting there going, I don't like the way that's sitting. Uh-oh. This is the only thing that'll happen when you get down to the bottom. And this is where a little bit of washi tape will help you. And also a cloth. Once you've sort of got the ink on the top and you're happy with it, you can then stick that down. So that way it's not going to roll around, wiggle around quite so much. Especially on the glass mats, they do tend to just kind of move around. So by holding that solid, it just means I only have to hold the cardboard as opposed to the whole thing. And then I'm just going to fill in the last of the colour just with a little gentle layer right on the bottom, which leaves not quite, but it's very pale just down in this corner. And I think that actually looks really good. Yay, the clouds look good. Okay, that's all the inking we're actually going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is just add a little bit of water to this. You guys should know by now I absolutely love doing this. It just adds something really special when you do just add a little bit of water. So this is just plain normal water, nothing fancy to it. Just going to get this in, clean up a little bit first. So, just give this a bit of a spritz. And then I've just got a little, or haven't got a little, I've got a tissue off to the side, so just sort of wipe off the excess. And see if I want to add a bit more. That was a really light misting. Sometimes you want to add a little bit more water just to get a darker kind of result. Or you want to put it a little bit closer if you found the splodges weren't quite enough. I do find with tumbled glass, it's probably the only one that I don't get a really good splodge effect with. And I think it's just because it's such a light colour. It's not too bad. It's very, 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 very faint, but that's okay. That's kind of the look I was going for. Alright, so we just need to dry this panel off and then we can start, well, actually, while that's doing that, we're going to go ahead and do our Copic colouring. So I'm grabbing, first of all, I'm grabbing the right bit of paper. I'm grabbing some of my Express It Blender card. So I'm grabbing this kit, or stamp set, sorry, by Fawn. This is called Blue Skies. It's a bit of an older one, but I really want to use this balloon, and I'm just thinking if it's too big, because I was thinking originally that the small one was too big, too small, but I think now it might be the right size. So I'm going to stamp out, just going to grab my Misty in, and I will be doing a review on the Misty reasonably soon if you guys are interested. There are tons and tons and tons of reviews on the internet. I don't know if I need to do one, but if you guys are interested in my thoughts, I am happy to do one. I'm going to grab the little balloon and just put that on the platform. I'm also going to grab these two clouds and just put them on the platform as well, and I'm actually going to end up stamping them more than once, I think. Oops, I always put them backwards, I don't know why. I think I want to use the small balloon, but I'm tempted to do a big balloon too. I might just stamp out a big balloon as well and see what I think. Okay, so we'll grab my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. We'll use this one because it is Copic friendly. Whoops, we're going to let go. And the best thing about the Misty, I don't know if I've got enough ink on here, but if I don't, I can always just stamp out or put some more ink on it and stamp it again, because it is in exactly the right place. No, I think that's okay. That's sort of, this particular stamp set has a very kind of, it's a very old release from Fawn, so it looks a little bit different to some of their others, but I do really like it. I'm just going to leave the stamps exactly where they are for now, because I have a thought that maybe I'll come back and do something else, which they'll need to do that for. So, we need to decide what colours we're going to do our balloons. This is actually going to be a birthday card for my cousin, so if she's watching this beforehand, I'm really sorry. I usually try and put the videos on after I've sent my cards, but yeah, this one needed to happen now, so whoopsies. So I think I'll I want to do like a really bright color combo, so I'm going to do a teal combo, like a green teal combo with maybe some pink. Teal and pink's always a good combination. I'm not quite sure if this color combo is going to work, but we'll give it a go. So I'm going to do both the big balloon and the little balloon in the same color combo. I'm just going to do the green or the teal first. So I'm sort of thinking of this on my little panel here. Where is the sun? It's not really anywhere. It's sort of in the middle. So I'm going to have the light hitting in the middle. So for that reason, the darkest colors will sort of be on the outside. So we'll do sort of like a dark down here or down the edges, and then we'll put the light color in the middle. So this is BG34, and I'm going to add in some BG32, I think, is it? Yep, BG32. I'm still deciding what my favorite color combos are, but I do love this teal combo. It's very pretty. Almost looks like a mint as opposed to a teal, but it is really pretty. I'm also going to, no, I'll wait and see if I'm going to. So what I'm thinking is, I saw a stamp video today, because this is what I do on my lunch break, where whoever was doing it, I don't remember who, put like VersaFine over the top of the memento just to give it like a really dark kind of outline. And I'm thinking I might do the same thing, but I'll just have to wait till I've got all my colours in to decide if I then want to fill in these little gaps, because there is just a little sort of gap in the stamp outline, and that's a by design thing. I just waffled, but you guys get my point. So for the pink, this first one's RV14, which is the only, very rarely do you find that the smaller number is actually darker than the higher number, but in this case it is. Here's one. But these two colours are actually really far apart in their tones and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the colour down first and sort of get it to blend a little bit. And then I'm just going to touch, actually just going to pick up some of the excess ink on the nib there. And then just by touching the two of them together, you can just sort of make it blend a little bit nicer. Sort of making a third shade in between. I've been watching far too many videos. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. So I like to always put the colour down first and then do the touching. I'm just trying to decide if I want to use a third colour or not, because I actually think a purple would look really pretty there. I'm going to grab this combo of VO4 and VO6. Same thing again, I'm going to put the dark right on the outside and then blend in to the centre. Not as big a fan of that purple, guys, but I will decide in a minute if I like it. So I'm going to do the same thing with the big balloon. I'm going to colour in with the pink and the teal. I might actually add in some yellow. Maybe some yellow is the right colour on the outside one. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to zoom in really close this time so you guys get a better kind of idea of what I'm doing. So I hope that helps. I just won't talk through it, but I'll try and put the pink, put the lids up so you can kind of get the idea of exactly what I'm doing. So I definitely like this one better than this one, but I'm still not sold on the colours. I'm sort of hoping once I get it on the page it'll look a bit better. Now the only thing I still need to do very quickly is just do the basket and then this little bit here. So I'm actually going to use, I thought about using a different colour. I'm actually going to use just this blue. I'm trying to make it look like it's actually sort of part of the sky, which I don't think I'm going to be able to do. But we'll give it a try. So this is BO2. And then I'm just going to put the teal, so the 34 on this outside edge, and then just blend it in with the 32. Just makes it look a little round if you've got the darker on the outside. And these are so close together that it is really hard to tell, I know. I'm hoping that'll look good when you get it in on the card. And just using this slightly darker one again, since we'll put the shadow in. I don't know how many hundreds of times I do that. So it's just a little darker. And then I'm just going to kind of do like a cross stitch, cross hatch kind of pattern on here. I'm just doing it really lightly. Just that little bit I think helps. Alright, so I'm going to just double stamp these with the VersaFine ink. I just want to see what it looks like more than anything else. And then we can start putting, or seeing if this card looks any good. Seeing if I need to re-stamp something. So none of the stamps have moved. So when I put this back in, it should work fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink this up. This will give me a really, really dark outline now, which will just look a little bit, I don't know, I just really like the way I saw it in the video today. The only downside is I always get this VersaFine on my fingers. Just makes it look a little darker. I don't know why I like it, I just do. I just do. Alright, so I'm going to run them through the die cutting machine using the coordinating dies and I'll be right back. Okay, so you would have seen during that I very quickly coloured in the rest of the little balloon. Kind of forgot about it, happy to admit that. Thankfully Ryan reminded me, so thank you Ryan. And I did it in just sort of like a touchy motion so I didn't get in the way of the... Now I like it. Why didn't I like it before? Just so it didn't get in the way of the Memento ink. Not the Memento, the VersaFine, because that will bleed a little bit with Copic. So just be careful with it. We'll see what looks better when we get on the card. I still think the bigger one's going to look a little bit too big for my card. So we might end up with the small one by default. So I'll bring in our base again. You see, I think that's... If it was going to sit still, I think that would be fine. But because I want it to be a moving kind of thing, maybe that's then going to put it in the wrong spot. Ryan, what do you think? So we're going to have this one sitting... This one's going to be our moving one, so it's just going to move a little bit along here. And this one will sit up on foam tape. Just a little bit of an angle. Okay, so it's going to sit there, which means our little line. So this is going to grab out the Let's Toast pull tab add-on. I know I've done sliders before without this add-on. You don't need it. I just really wanted to give it a try. I really liked this little mechanism that it makes. I also got a really good deal on it. So a combination of things. So I want that to sort of to come across here. So I'm just going to stick that down with a little bit of washi and we'll cut that out. While we're doing, no, we'll do it afterwards. I was going to cut out my notch at the same time, but I will do it afterwards just to make sure that I don't ruin it. Alright, we'll get the notch done and then we can start assembling this. So the notch just has to sit. I really love this notch thing. So what it does, it's got the little stitching all around this little notch part. So wherever you put it, it's going to cut that out. But you can sort of use the die to sit up against the edge so that it's sort of a nice little stitching detail that we'll put on here. And I'm just going to stick that in place again with some washi and run it through. See, doesn't that just look so cute with the little stitching bit? makes me happy. So the last thing we need to die cut, and we just need to use a little bit of scrap cardboard. So I've got still plenty over here. I'm actually going to run this through twice. I'm just thinking in my head. I've never actually tried to do this before, but I'm going to try it and see if this die will go through 2 bits at once. If it doesn't, I haven't wasted anything, just a little bit of cardboard. And honestly, I only need this bit for the second heart, so that's the only bit I'm really after anyway. So I'll run that through too. So what I really like about this is it gives you the shape, but it also puts these score lines in there, so it's a really easy thing to fold up. So we'll use, I'm trying to keep all my stuff not in a mess. So if you can see here, I'm going to hold it up so you can try and see them. So you've got those little score lines there, so they'll sort of fold in on themselves and make this cute little holder for all of your dies that you're going to stick this to. And then you can just trim it down to be whatever size you want it to be or whatever shape you want it to be. So you fold those back and forth like a little, kind of like an accordion, and it gives you this kind of little rectangle-y like shape. And then what we do is we stick this in here. Just like that, and that'll sit flat. And you pull it, and that gives you how it moves. I'm a little worried this might be a little bit close, but we'll give it a go anyway. Alright, so let's start kind of assembling this baby. So what we need to do is I like to just strengthen up my pull tab a little bit because the cardboard I use isn't the strongest in the world. So a little bit of extra strength never hurt anybody. So I'm just going to do that with glue tape. So just cut off the sort of wings, I guess, of the pull tab. Just put the glue down and then just reinforce it with that second bit we cut. And then because I know it's only little, I've only done a sort of up to here bit. So then we need to put our balloon on. So to do that, make that little, sit it up. Just slide it in through that notch. And then open it up. And just work out where that balloon needs to sit. So I think I'm just going to cut off. So if I'm going to stick this down, I'm just going to put just a little pencil mark around here and then pull it out and trim that off, just cutting on the inside of where that was, just so that it's out of the way. So all I've done is just made that a little smaller and put that back in, and we'll stick this one down to make it all the way over. You don't have to use glue tape here, you can use liquid glue if you prefer. I don't actually have a preference for this bit. And then you can see it just sort of slides along there just like that. That's so cute. I love that so very much. I really do. I love that. Now there is a tab in this kit that will make you a little wrap kind of thing around here so that you've got something that holds the pull tab still. Because we've put this so close, that tab's actually going to be too wide. So I'm just going to make my own just with a slither of cardboard. So I'm just going to stick that underneath there if it's too thick, which it might be. Because you don't want it to be able to be seen when this is all the way over here. It might be too thick no matter what I do. Just do a really skinny one. And then just put a little bit of glue on the back. I'm just going to hold this up. There we go. So I've just got that right in that little gap there. Going to wrap this around like that and like that. Cut off the excess. A little bit of glue. Don't worry, I'll rub that off in a sec. Down she goes. Rub off that extra bit. And then let's check that this still slides. Because I may have got just a little bit of glue on there. Yeah, it did. Very last thing that we have to cut. We're going to cut this little pull tab bit in here. just need to decide what colour I want it to be more than anything else, I think. So I've just grabbed this bit of pink paper. Actually, Ryan grabbed this piece of pink paper. Well done, Ryan. It's just plain paper, it's nothing fancy. I'll cut that off, so I'm just using my scissors. I'll just go straight up. Go, so that sits flush. And then we'll put this on here and fold it over. You can use glue tape for this one, but just because it's so particularly small, I just want to use the liquid glue for this one. And I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that that's already white behind there, and just leave it white. It is a little fiddly, not too bad. So just put that on there and then fold it over. There's a little bit of seepage from the glue. That sits in there quite comfortably. Just grabbing my powder tool. I'm just going to rub that over the top there, and that's just going to get rid of that stickiness. And then I should be able to just sort of wiggle it around to get the mess off. If I can't, which I'm going to be honest is not sort of coming off, I'm going to grab this the little out cut, is that the right word? Cut out from the little triangle and put that in there. And if that still doesn't work, which it still just looks a little bit dirty to me, and I don't want it to, I'm just going to grab that really dark pink Copic that we used. I'm just going to colour this in and sort of hope that gets rid of the dirty look, which it seems to be. I'm just trying to keep that on the pink paper. This pink paper is really not designed for Copics. It's not bleeding, but it's drinking this up. Okay, that looks fine. It doesn't matter that the other side's not quite the same colour because you'll never see it anyway. Okay, so there we have our little moving balloon. The other balloon's going to sit up like this and going to sit up on some foam tape. So we've just got this little bit up here to write the sentiment. So what sentiment do I have in this kit? So I've got the sky's the limit and blue skies are ahead, and I don't really want to use either of those ones. So instead I'm going to grab birthday before and afters. And I want to do this one here that says, may all your wishes come true. I think that's what it says. Yes, may all your wishes come true. But all I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to alter the way this is. So instead of being a one long line, I'll do it as a stacked. You can do this two different ways. You can either cut it and then stack them up properly, or you can sort of rub one off and do it that way. I'm quite happy just to do the putting it down, wiping off the excess, and then just doing the second lot. So I'm going to use my VersaFine just because we've used that on the outline now, so we'll make sure we do that. So we'll do may all your wishes. So I'm just stamping that, inking that part of it, and then we'll just rub off where we don't want the ink. Make sure you do a really good job, because otherwise you're gonna get it where it's not supposed to be. Ooh. No, I was just thinking, because I still have my clouds, which I wanted to put sort of off to the side maybe. Cloud down there, put the big cloud back here. So I was thinking about maybe using white embossing powder, but I don't think I will. So line up the may all your wishes. Perfect. And then we'll do the come true part. Again, just making sure that's really, really well cleaned. If you've got any worries about any ink being on here, my little tip is to actually cover it up with washi tape. So cover up the bit you don't want with the washi, ink it up. You don't have to think about where you put anything. And then just pull this off. You go, and you've just got the come true part. my scariest part, is just inking, because I'm always petrified I'm going to mess it up. Alright, so we'll get these balloons and the clouds down. We can actually get to finishing off this card. We're not far away though. Alright, so now we just need to put this onto a backing. The reason we put it onto a backing is so that this has a little bit of room to move. We don't want that to be, like if you put that straight onto a card, it's then going to be a little bit harder to move. So just by making it raised up a little bit, it'll be easy to get your fingers behind there to be able to pull it. So I'm going to do that with foam tape, same way we just did. A little bit worried about the background, that you can see the white through there, you can really easily just ink up behind it, which is all I'm going to do. I'm just going to use the same brush that already had ink on it from before. I don't need to do it nicely because it's not going to get seen very much anyway, but that tinsy little bit of extra effort there just helps you to make that look a little bit cooler if someone's looking through it. They're not going to see a white hole. Just get rid of all the tape. I don't know why I've done this whole thing without my tweezers, but I have, so I don't. Okay, so I'm just going to line this up. I'm really horrible at doing this still, so fingers crossed. One day I'll find the easiest way. It's not completely perfect, but it's pretty good. And that way you can get your fingers in here to grab hold of this to pull. So we just need to mount that on a card base. Really easy to do that. I'm just going to put it on a piece of blue cardboard. The final little thing, I'm just going to put happy birthday on the inside of this. This comes out of this card set, or stamp set, sorry, as well, the birthday before and afters. But just rather than doing it on, doing it with black ink, I thought maybe I'd do it on blue with blue ink. I'm going to grab that darker Broken China ink. It's only a little bit darker, but it's just enough. Perfect! I love blue on blue. It's just such a good thing. So there we have it. We have our birthday card. Yes, that took me a really long time. I'm still not learning, that's not the right thing. I'm still working out how to use properly this new die set. I wish I had made that a little bit longer, but if that's the only thing that's wrong with it, I think that's okay. You can still get under there really easily, and it's really obvious what needs to happen there. It's just a simple addition, but it just makes it look so cool. So let me know what you think down below. Do you like these kind of card videos that are a bit more in-depth and a little bit more crazy? If you do, let me know down below. If you don't, let me know too, so that I don't do them again. I'd also like to know if there's anything in particular you guys would like to see, if there's a kind of card you'd like to see. You can let me know down below as well, or you can find me on any of my socials. Don't forget to join in my giveaway that is still going on. Other than that, I hope you have an absolutely fantastic weekend, and I will see you again in Sunday's video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!